You could literally triple your testosterone in the next 90 days. I could just jump off this bridge right now. I'm not sure how high up we are. I'm tempted to do it, to be honest with you. 20 years. 20 years I spent as a shell of the person that I am today. Shy, stifled, introverted, inside my head. Maybe you can relate. Just the quintessential analysis paralysis. I can remember being in class, for example, and you know that moment where the teacher is about to pick out a person, it's like you had to raise your hand, but then they would point to the person that precisely didn't want to be pointed to. And there was just this obnoxious inner dialogue that would be obsessive, utter rumination. Frankly, I was just incredibly discontented. And it actually became an identity. I thought that's who I was. I thought that I was just the person who was always going to live in this way, interface with reality in a way that didn't allow me to step into the light, as it were, that gives me light. And if you can relate to that, if you have this sense that maybe you're not everything that you could be right now, if you get the sense that this identity that you have assumed is more akin to a hat that you can take off, which gives light to putting on a new one, as opposed to one that is just utterly fixated, glued to your head, then stick with me, because in this video today, what I'm going to be talking about is how you can actually shapeshift. You can actually change your identity 180. You can literally become the diametric opposite. You can just stop, turn around, and go in the exact precise opposite direction. See, the truth is that just like personality, I used to think that my physiology was fixed, that I was always going to have this rare disease called eosinophilic esophagitis, that I was always going to have allergies. I was going to be a mouth breather, frankly, for the rest of my life. I had allergies, exercise-induced asthma, I had rosacea, I always had these red spots on my face. I had an esophagus that was so inflamed that I could barely swallow food properly. And just the anxiety of that, I literally thought that this was the physiology that was fixated and that there was nothing I could do about that. I was always going to be this person. But what I didn't realize is that physiology is a byproduct of everything. And it's not just the genes that load the gun, it's the environment that pulls the trigger. And I didn't realize how much free reign there was, how many degrees of freedom that there were between where I was in that moment, in that classroom, just wondering when the teacher was going to call on me. Literally, my heart rate would be incredibly elevated to where I am today, to where I can cold approach anybody with pure freedom. Frankly, I could just jump off this bridge right now. I'm not sure how high up we are. I'm tempted to do it, to be honest with you. I don't know if you can gain an appreciation. I'm like right at the edge of, I don't know, maybe like a 40, 45 foot bridge. And I just feel so good, man. Like I have no anxiety. And imagine what opens up to you. Imagine how much freedom you could have not being fearful, under attack. That's how I used to live. I used to think that I was under attack, man. Like I literally cared about the way that other people were perceiving me. And I didn't realize that it didn't have to be that way. But the truth is that no one's ever come to you with this message. None of your teachers have ever told you what is actually possible when you dial in your sleep, your nutrition, when you get enough UV exposure, when you actually optimize, when you fix your physiology. This is not something that any coach has ever taught you, any mentor, certainly not your friends and family. This is something that, unfortunately, most people stumble across, and it's information that even in the mainstream medical paradigm, which practically has you drowning in seed oils, which are incredibly toxic, you're not just going to haphazardly stumble across this information. And to be honest with you, this is the information that will revolutionize your life. And I'm so happy to be presenting this to you guys today. As someone who's been on the other side of struggle, man, I've been on both sides. I've experienced the unease, the discontentment, just being unable to express myself authentically. But I've also been, as I am now, on the other side of that struggle, namely serenity. And that's where life gets good, man. That's where you feel good walking around in your own skin. That's a litmus test. Ask yourself, from a scale of 1 to 10, how good is it to actually be you? To assume this avatar, to play life as this character. And what would the payout be to you if you could literally just be at the start of the video game and you can opt for a different character and then curate your entire experience moving forward? Yeah, maybe it's the same levels 1 through 10 to 100. It's the same threshold guardians that you gotta battle. It's the same bosses, it's the same obstacles. But what I would ask is, how much better would that experience be with a level 100 character that just kind of kicks some ass, man? It's just more enjoyable to play life as that character, not for any particular reason that is necessarily like objectively better, but maybe it's just more fun. And maybe it's actually more authentic to you because you don't even know who you are. That's the fundamental point that I would submit. I would submit that you have no idea. You have maybe a 1% notion of your actual endocrinologically optimized self. I know that was certainly true of me, being incredibly estrogen dominant and a low testosterone male who was incredibly timid and wasn't able to just take life by the balls, man. That just didn't resonate with me. I wasn't able to actually do that. It felt incongruent. What I found is, over time, becoming endocrinologically optimized, having a 900 in excess testosterone level, reversing a rare chronic inflammatory disease that used to bring me to my knees. The experience that I'm entitled to, and I believe you are too, is simply leaps and bounds better than what I could have ever fathomed in my wildest dreams. What I wouldn't give to go back in time and have a talk with my 15-year-old self and just give him hope. Give him a glimmer of hope that the way his life is today, the way that he breathes, the way that he walks, the way that he talks, and the way that he thinks is going to pale in comparison to later down the road. And that one day his life would be living. And even if it was his last day on this planet, and his life, as they say, flashed before his eyes, he could have said, you know what? This is worth watching, man. This life is worth watching, and it's so precious, and it's so incredibly finite. And I'm here to invite you to wake the up, to wake the up and realize how finite and how precious it is and how much better it could get when you actually take yourself seriously. You take your life seriously. You consciously curate the things that enter into your life. And what it starts with, as you guys know, if you're familiar with my content, it starts with food first. With the literal things that go through your digestive tract, you become what you eat. But that's not the end point. It's everything. It's the air that you breathe. It's how you breathe, breathing through your nose and not through your mouth. It's how you sleep, sleeping in a dark environment that is devoid of excess noise, that is done in an excellent, conscious fashion. Ideally around the same time each day to sync your circadian rhythm. See, I don't think you guys realize how much better life can be when you are actually optimized at that endocrinological level. And that's what I'm here to hopefully inspire you to actually chase. Like, that is worth fighting for, man. That's something that you can actually hang your hat on. And the problem is that no one's really given you a sense that this is indeed possible, have they? No one's really told you that you could literally triple your testosterone in the next 90 days. You could literally go from a 300 total testosterone male to something like myself, over 900, maybe 1,000 nanograms per deciliter if you took your life seriously. And actually what I've done is I've compiled the top 10 ways to triple your testosterone, and I've literally written it up as a full comprehensive guide, a PDF. You can check it out in the description down below. And that is literally going to fast track you to tripling your testosterone. And that's literally the first step to becoming endocrinologically optimized. And think about all of the downstream effects of that, of having more testosterone, more confidence, more willpower, more drive, more persistence in spite of pain. Literally having pain, discomfort, feel good. Imagine the amount of leverage that you would have given that. It's absolutely incredible. So guys, take this idea seriously. Testosterone is absolutely paramount, and you're gonna become a much better man, a top tier 1% man that you know you wanna be. You wanna be at ease with yourself. And I'm here to be an example of that and to invite you to join me on this journey. Guys, drop a comment down below, like and subscribe for more content like this. And until next time, friends, find your freedom.